Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. Welcome to the show. You know, we finally have Stephan Sterns showing up in court as he refused to do on prior occasions. There's the thumbnail right there, right? For the first time, Stephan Sterns, the man prosecutors have charged with sexually assaulting and murdering 13-year-old Kissimmee teen Madeline Soto. He made an in-person court appearance on Monday. This is according to the Osceola News Gazette. Sterns, with a neatly trimmed beard and haircut, did not speak during his brief appearance at Monday's status hearing for his trials. He entered the courtroom shortly before the 10-minute hearing and was let out immediately after it concluded. Aside from the murder, the state has charged him with 60 counts of S battery, lewd and lascivious molestation, and possession of child SA material. Charges filed by the state attorney general's office after searching his phone and Google Drive after Soto was reported missing back on February 26th. The state attorney has filed to seek the death penalty against Sterns, who remains in the Osceola County Jail. It appears that the wheels of justice move slowly. Assistant State Attorney Danielle Pennell noted no depositions have been done or been scheduled among the many witnesses in what are now separate cases. She said the murder case has many more witnesses. Public defender Beth Bourdon, surrounded by a defense team of 3 other attorneys, told Judge Keith Karsten that she is currently on another death penalty case and has 2 others on her docket. She asked that the case be scheduled for 2027, but Karsten said that would test the boundaries of what is reasonable. Karsten then set new pretrial hearings for Sterns' cases, noting the case with the 60 counts as fewer hurdles standing in the way. He tentatively scheduled the case for a pretrial hearing on Wednesday, February 12, 2025, and for a trial docket of February 24th to March 14th. He set up a pretrial hearing with discovery and deposition update deadlines of September 10th, 2025, and a trial period to start September 22nd. So as we can see when we talk about the wheels of justice moving slowly, well, yeah, they're moving real damn slow. But this case is going to go, and we have to realize there's going to be 2 trials in regards to this case, not one. The first one, I believe he'll get convicted. That's with all of those images on his phone. He can get life in prison for that. And once they put him to rest, put him in prison for that, then they can go what we call balls to the wall, going after that death penalty case, because that's the one we really want to see. So, folks, hold on to your hats. Hold on to your seats. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off-the-cuff zone, the police off-the-cuff zone. There has to be some common sense.
They were the ones who called 911 to get him help, and now they're calling for change.
And now we will have a word from our sponsor. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup breakdown, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. With the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, Major League Baseball playoffs, NHL, NBA, to political props. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. So, folks, today we're going to talk about what does this mean that Stephan Sterns has finally showed up in court. And we're going to dissect it. And with me today, of course, is audience favorite, retired NYPD Sergeant, professor at Albertus Magnus College in Connecticut, attorney. Welcome to the show, Professor Michael Geary. Mike.
William, good afternoon. Good to see you. This will be a
Mike,
great
looks like you
case.
even have a new hairdo. I don't know. Is it,
Yes,
you getting stylish on us?
trying to fluff everything up so it looks big.
You're getting a little stylish on us. But so, all right. So, Mike, here he is. We know the history of this case. Obviously, there he is as a horrible thumbnail with his parents and with his shirt off. Uh, we wonder, why did it take his attorneys or perhaps the judge to order him to show up at his own damn hearing? What took so damn long, Mike?
I think, Billy, at this point, the judge may have been losing a little patience for Stephan and the defense early on. Maybe his, initial appearance, that sort of thing. Maybe the arraignment. But now we want to get to the heart of the matter. We want to set a trial date. I think the judge wants him in that courtroom so that this way, if he's not there and the judge sets a trial date with the defense attorney, the defense attorney can go back and say to Stephan, we're going to do it this day. He could try to throw a monkey wrench into the works and say, no, let's push it back. Having him in court with his attorney kind of cuts out all that other stuff. And so you get to an answer, and a concrete answer, hopefully, a lot faster. So I think this is better for the court. It's better for everybody. And he can't mess around with, trying to get one-upsmanship, little gamesmanship between the defense and the prosecutor. The judge wants answers. The judge wants to put this on the docket because, look, he was arrested the end of February. It's already October, and this is going to come to trial now. The judge wants it in February, a year. It'll be a year after his initial arrest. So I think the judge wanted him in court to stop any sort of, defense machinations that might kind of derail the case.
Mike, one of the things that I found interesting is that the defense attorney, I believe her name is Beth Bordun, who's a legal aid attorney. And of course, Stephan Sterns, to add insult to injury, he needs a legal aid attorney because he's indigent. He's a piece of shit that never worked, right? So has no assets, nothing. So the taxpayers will pay for his defense. She requested, because she is currently on a death penalty case right now and has two others on her docket, she requested for a date in 2027. And the judge was like, are you kidding me? That's outrageous. No, I'm not even considering that. But he put it off to 2025, which also is quite generous in my estimation for a judge to say, okay, I'll give you to 2025. Because so far, it doesn't seem like much work has been done whatsoever by the defense on this case. No depositions have been done yet, Mike.
Yeah, Billy, and I think that perhaps it may sound strange, but the judge may actually want to get this first case, the SA case, over with, all the images. That will go a lot quicker. That's a lot easier to present to a jury, and it'll be easier to do for the judge and for everyone. I could actually see the prosecution not wanting to go into 27, but maybe agreeing to like a 2026 kind of thing, because you got to be fair, and if what the defense is saying, the defense attorney is saying, Bordun, if she actually does have that many cases assigned to her, death penalty cases, those are huge. And hopefully some of them will be plea bargain to life behind bars or something like that. But she's got her hands full. So as an attorney, I could understand her asking for that much lead time. I could see that. We'll see what happens, but I think we may be looking at a 2026 trial date for the homicides. I could see that.
Mike, one of the things that some of the folks in the chat are asking, what will his defense possibly be in the SA case? Because let's go back to how that occurred, right? Mm-hmm. He's being questioned, and the female detective, I forget her name right now, she asks, can I look through your phone? And he says he's confident because I did a factory reset. He thinks he did. Right. And he thinks there's nothing bad on his phone. So yeah, you can look at my phone, so she looks through his phone, and he starts to explain to her how he accidentally did a factory reset. And then she asks, can I have the code to your phone? And he very confidently gives her the code to his phone, because he figures This phone is empty. It's tabula rosa. There's nothing there. It's gone. A clean slate. She goes into his phone and gives it to her computer technicians, and they find 1,700 images of Madeline on that phone that can give this dirtbag the death penalty. So with all those images now, Mike, I would believe that the defense attorney is going to attack whether or not the detectives in fact got permission from Stephan Sterns, even though it's recorded, you can hear it, but they could say, oh, he was intimidated. He was in a police facility. He felt like he had to cooperate. They're going to go that way. But the detectives were smart. Once they found out there was some bad stuff on that phone, they got a search warrant for the rest of the bad stuff. So if the defense tries to get it thrown out, maybe the judge will throw them a bone and say, okay, we'll throw out the first, the first few things they saw, but they got a search warrant after that. And they recovered, X amount more images. So no, I'm allowing it. What do you think?
Billy, as you're explaining to the audience, I'm agreeing with you 100%. The judge may throw him a bone with saying, you're right. The waiver of your rights for, to privacy in your property, you didn't make a knowing, voluntary, and intelligent waiver, that you didn't understand what the access to the phone would be. You didn't know the extent to what they were going to look for. You had no idea what they were going to do. You were intimidated because you were all alone in a and in a police controlled environment, even if it wasn't in an interrogation, maybe it was in the back of a radio car or somewhere else, that you might had questions, and you figured nobody would help you answer these questions. You weren't really sure intelligently. You weren't really sure what you were giving up, so it couldn't have been a voluntary and really knowing waiver of your rights, because you didn't actually even know what your rights to refuse were. You didn't even know you had a right to refuse. I could see the judge saying, okay, we'll throw those first 10, 20, 15 images out. They got the search warrant, but we're going to allow in the other, 800,000 images, whatever. And that's going to sink them. So the judge could split hairs and say, okay, you were right. You didn't make a voluntary, knowing, intelligent waiver, but the police did get the search warrant like they're supposed to for all of the rest of the phones. The judge could also say, and this is what I'm thinking they're really hoping for, because that first option, like you explained, that really doesn't help them all that much, because you got all those other ones that were found after they got the search warrant. I think what the judge may do, what the defense wants a judge to do, is to say the fruit of the poison tree doctrine is that the knowing and intelligent and voluntary waiver was non-existent. Therefore, them actually then opening the phone, seeing what they saw, and getting the search warrant was fruit of the poison tree. In other words, they did not get a good, knowing, intelligent, voluntary waiver. So therefore, they should have gone and gotten a search warrant first and then opened the phone. But by the fact that they didn't get a knowing, voluntary, intelligent waiver, they violated his Fifth Amendment rights. And therefore, whatever they subsequently got should never be admissible. That's what the defense is hoping for. That's their Hail Mary pass. That's their, half-court shot at the buzzer as the, time is running out. That's what they're hoping for. I don't think they'll get it, but you never know how a judge is going to rule in this matter. So they got, I think, one play, and I think you got it right.
I should have been an attorney instead of a cop.
Oh, I'm sorry. I get paid by the word, don't I?
Carol Grayston, thank you so much, Carol, for all you do. She just gifted 5 police off the cuff memberships to 5 lucky people. Thank you so much, Carol. Sam Sleuthen from the UK. Does anyone else think he pled guilty to murder as a way to avoid trial and public scrutiny like Watts? Sam, there's no offer. You can't just plead guilty because you want to. There's no offer from the prosecution. They didn't know. The offer is the death penalty. Do you still want to plead guilty? Oh, I didn't know that, I don't think anyone's going to plead guilty when the penalty is the death penalty. And look, this first trial, of course, for the images on the phone, that in itself is a life in prison case. I don't think that is in fact a death penalty case, right, Mike? Because
no, that part isn't a death penalty case. Just the murder would be a death
that's
penalty
been
case.
incorrectly reported on a lot of different channels, and I think the law was changed where perhaps now it could be, but the ages, I think it was below someone less than 12 years old. I think it was, so it may be not a fit. And it doesn't matter. He can get life in prison for that, and then waiting in the wings is a death penalty case. And Sam Sleuthan from the UK, he's not going to plead guilty to a death penalty case because no one, even savages like him, do not want to plead and lose their life and, get the death penalty. Sherry, thank you so much. Detective Myra Tegler took his phone. Thank you. And we praised her throughout this case. I thought she was great. I loved her low-key way of getting statements from defendants like this guy. I loved her low-key way of explaining to him why he needed to tell her certain things. And, there were some things during this case that we didn't love. The interview by the two detectives that they should have went after the murder and not the SA case. They had him by the Quillones, if you know what I mean. They should have went after that, and they did not. And we criticized that because in this business, you only get one opportunity. And once one of these defendants lawyers up, as we all know, the interview is over, So you have to use some trickery. You have to use some psychology. You have to use some common sense. You have to use some logic. Yeah, use logic with a guy who just murdered a 13-year-old, But believe it or not, it works. It absolutely works. So Superfly from the chat. Yes, Sterns has something cooked up. I think that's why he stopped talking to parents and not talking to nobody. Well, look, whatever he's got cooked up, he doesn't really I don't think he's got a shot at beating either one of these cases, to tell you the truth. And again, everyone always wants to hear he's innocent to proven guilty, but this case has more evidence than almost any case I've ever seen in my entire police career. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, Billy, he may try to cook something up with his attorney. And I think probably his attorney has told him, don't really communicate with your parents because they might go on TV and talk about it. So please don't talk to them about anything. If they want to see you in person, that's one thing. You're not too far away, but don't communicate with them in any other way, in any sort of recorded kind of conversation. Don't do that. So I could see that. Yeah, he doesn't have much of a hand to play. I think also with the defense attorney, part of the reason why she wants to stretch out the timeline for the homicide case is that the homicide case will occur probably 2 years after if he gets convicted of the SA charges next year, next September. Okay. I'm sorry, next February. Now, he'll be in prison for 2 years. And then I think the defense attorney, I think she might want to go to the county prosecutor and say, look, do you still want to do a death penalty case? He's in prison. He's got life behind bars without possibility of parole. We could, what good is it going to do putting him to death? He's going to, it's going to take 30 years before he's ever executed. Let him, make an offer. We'll plead guilty and we can wipe both cases off them, done. I think that's also part of her strategy is to do that, stretch it all out, and then therefore take the value away from the death penalty case so that it'll be redundant because all you're going to get, you may get the death penalty, you may not. And that's a big gamble because it only has to take one juror to say, yeah, I'll convict him of murder, but I don't want to see him get the death penalty. So that's a big gamble that the prosecutors take. And I think if there was some sort of deal that could be worked out with the defense and the prosecutor, well after the SA case is over, I could see that being a long-term strategy, because I'm putting my head around this, trying to figure out why on earth, a defense attorney would want to do something, why a prosecutor would want to do something. But I think that's where she's going with this case.
Absolutely. Kay from the chat. So this court appearance was only on the essay and images and photos on his phone and computer. Well, yes, but they set up dates they had to lay the foundation for the dates of the two trials, because he's facing two trials. These cases are separate from each other.
Yeah.
Is there any way, Mike, they could have charged both of these at the same time?
I mean, they could, under the theory that, the homicide occurred during or after the commission of SA, to cover up what the victim may be screaming, shouting out for help or something like that. They could have done that, but they chose not to, and I think for the prosecutor, I think that's a good move not to charge them with both, because you have one trial and you've got two huge issues, the SA and the homicide. If for any reason the case goes sideways, or you get a really a bad jury, you got one shot at the apple. Here, if you do poorly on the SA charges, say for instance he beats them, just say he beats the charge, miracle of miracle, he beats the SA charges, he still has the homicide case. So therefore, as a prosecutor, would it be easier to do one all at once? Yeah. But I think doing it, a second case, a second trial, you actually get two bites at the apple. And so therefore, I think that it is actually probably a good tactical move of the prosecutors to do it that way. But yes, the answer is absolutely yes. You could have both cases tried together. Who knows? Maybe his defense attorney may decide to do that, ask for a joinder there and put both cases together, figuring,
Absolutely.
okay, one shot, one trial, we'll see where it goes.
Kim Alliston from the chat. Friends visiting this evening, please watch last night's show recorded by Sergeant Bill, titled Madeline Soto Never Came Home. What happened? Absolutely brilliant, in my humble opinion. Kim, thank you so much. Many people last night didn't like the script. They thought that it was basically, it was almost like a dramatization. And if you've been watching me report on this case right from the beginning, I have no use for Stephan Sterns. I think he is one of the worst savages I've seen in my police career. And I also believe that Jennifer Soto is involved. I believe that right from the beginning. So the dramatization of the show last night didn't indicate my real feelings. Some people got crazy. They were attacking me. Why are you? That's okay. I'm a copper. I have thicker skin than most, But that's not what I believe. What I believe is that Stephan Sterns should get the death penalty if in fact he's convicted. And I believe that Jennifer Soto is involved in this case. And so whatever the narrative that we read, it was a sort of a dramatization last night. Don't get so upset. And if you must leave, if you don't want to be a part of the Police Off the Cuff family anymore, that's your business. You can do so. I always go back to this when we talk about Stephan Sterns and listen to his interview here.
Northbound and southbound. So you're going northbound into Orange County, making a left at the McDonald's, which is the town loop. You said when you did drop her off at that medium, you said it was around 8:20, 8:30-ish, somewhere around that time?
Somewhere in there, yeah. It was early, but not like outrageously early,
So what would you estimate when you made a left at that McDonald's to be?
After I dropped her off?
No, I'm saying when you dropped her off.
First left by that McDonald's.
Yeah, when you first go, that first left that you make at the McDonald's.
It had to have been around maybe 8, maybe quarter after 8, sometime in there.
Okay.
Sometime between 8 and a quarter after, I think.
All right. So
You
just
know,
so
I find all of this so interesting because people always ask, why do cops always dwell on time and location? Because timelines are so important. He's saying it was 8:15. He's seen on video coming back into the complex at 8:19. So if he was 4 minutes away, could he have made it back? Because we know that timestamp is absolutely 100% because it's a video timestamp that catches his car going through, and it's a security guard sees him coming back in. So all of these things as he's thinking of his lies, and he's a classical liar because when he's asked a question, he does the ultimate stalling when he goes, I mean, I'm like, when I hear that, I just want to reach through the screen and grab his throat, because he is such a classical liar.
so it's you can kind of picture it here on the map. So you're going northbound. You make a left here around like 8:10, 8:15. Let's say 8:15, around there. When you get over here, you make a U-turn. You go back to the McDonald's. But you said that she still doesn't want the
Still
McDonald's.
doesn't want it. She was just going to eat the Danishes that I had given her.
So you're going up here now, still northbound on Jongyang Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
You make a left at Town Center this time.
Town Center, then make a right onto, yes.
And then you drop her off around like
dropped her off around halfway up the road there.
So keep in mind, all of this is still northbound,
Okay.
right? You're still northbound on Jongyang Parkway.
Northbound.
So why is your car seen going southbound at 8:10? I'll show you what location it is. McDonald's is over here.
Mm-hmm.
At 8:10, your car is seen going southbound at this intersection. So meaning going toward Kissimmee.
Mm-hmm. I had forgotten something. I had forgotten my gate clicker. I'm sorry. I forgot. I had gone back to the house real quick after we left.
I love that. The other thing that is a cornerstone of lying is when you apologize too much. I'm sorry. I had forgotten my gate clicker, and meanwhile he had the gate clicker in his hand when he drove through, and the security guard saw it in his hand. So the excuse he used, the lie he told to the detectives, was 100% not true because his gate clicker. I had my gate clicker. I need, he's such a weasel, and he's not even smart enough to lie in a good way. And that's why I felt that earlier on they should have challenged him with truths that they knew, solid truths that they knew, and they didn't do that till much later. And then they didn't do it very strongly. They didn't do it in a very aggressive way. And I felt that they should have. Schmitty from the chat. Good to see you, Schmitty. Hello, Professor Geary, from your sixth fan of many. Laugh out
Thank
loud.
you.
So she's the sixth fan you have, Mike.
All right. Growing the fan base one fan at a time. Thank you, Schmitty.
Mary Howard, it's very nice of you. Sergeant Bill, just don't listen to the haters. They're made to hate, and most do a good job. Just know the rest of us love your programming. We are mature enough not to listen if we don't want to. Well, thank you. You're right. I should know this, but every once in a while, you listen to your audience, because sometimes, believe it or not, I make mistakes. We all make mistakes, right? I don't think last night was a mistake, but I think people took it the wrong way. Like, I was not at all supporting Stephan Sterns and Jennifer Soto. I think both of them are guilty as hell, and so people took it the wrong way. So, but that's I'm going to put that to bed now. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. So, Mike, we've discussed now the case. The most important case is the first case that's going forward, and of course, that's the essay. And when they try him on that, and he gets convicted of that,
it's huge.
Yeah, because the death penalty then becomes like, just sharpen those knives. We're gonna get this dude, man. We're going for it all. Whereas perhaps a prosecutor might have to be a little more conservative if he, in fact, doesn't have a life sentence already on the defendant. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Bill, the SA case going forward is really vitally important because, as Rachel in the chat noted, the conviction for SA is one of the aggravating factors that contributes to the foundation for asking the jury to uh, choose the death penalty when it comes to the penalty phase of the homicide trial. That is an aggravating factor under Florida law. So therefore, yes, it's huge. Once you get that conviction and then you go to the second trial for homicide, you've already got a foundation to ask and a reason to ask the jury to say, look, if he's convicted in this case, he'll be convicted. You'll convict him of murder, but remember, he also has a previous conviction of SA. That's an aggravating factor justifying the imposition of the death penalty. That is huge. It doesn't seem like it's huge compared to a murder case, but like you pointed out, it is absolutely essential that they get a criminal conviction on SA for poor Matty Soto in that first case. That's huge.
Absolutely. Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. If you like real crime, true crime, then you're in the right place. And if you're not subscribed, just hit that red subscribe button right on the screen. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the like button. Share us with your friends, your family, your acquaintances. Tell everybody about us. And also, if you want to contribute to us financially, we have a Patreon with 4 different levels. And we also have a YouTube channel membership with 5 different levels. And we appreciate all you guys that are members of our family. We appreciate that. Kay, Texas, we're in Florida. This case is in Florida, but you're right. Texas does not play. That's for sure. And but Florida apparently doesn't play either because Florida has the death penalty. In many of these states, New York used to have the death penalty. I forgot what year it was. They Mike might know. They dumped the death penalty at some year, right, Mike?
Yeah, back in the early 90s during the Pataki administration, like 1992, the Court of Appeals in New York declared it unconstitutional. Yeah, about 30 years, yeah.
Early on in this case, this was the one sort of conference that the chief from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, this always stays with me, this right here.
Determined that Madeline was never dropped off on the morning of February 26th near her school. Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time and that Stephan Sterns moved her body.
So they had all of that. This is Chief Mena from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. They had all that information that we didn't know about, vis-a-vis him driving out of the gate with her dead body in the front seat. At 08:19, him driving back into the condo complex with her dead body in the passenger seat. At I believe it was 11:35 hours, he in a Holiday Inn parking lot, one of those parking lots that have several floors, he's seen on video taking her dead body out of the front seat and depositing her in the trunk. So they knew all of those things, yet in all the interviews I heard, they never confronted him with that fact. And that's so powerful. Even when that chief tells everyone in the public, we believed that Madeline was already dead. We all had hope back then, remember? We all had hope that they might find her alive, right? Because we were believing the story of that complete jackass, Stephan Sterns, right? We're believing this guy's story. I dropped off at school. She didn't want McDonald's, so I gave her the 2 Danishes. I mean, the guy had a whole bullshit story that he made up, right? And they knew a lot of this stuff. I don't know exactly 100% the time frame that they found out about all this stuff because they had to collect video. They had to put it together. They had to collect information from license plate readers as to where he was. So I don't know the exact time frame. He was arrested on the 28th, right? But that
That's
was
correct.
for the images on his phone. So we don't know when they had the information, the video information of him leaving the complex with her dead body in the car, him coming back into the complex with
That's right.
her dead body in the car, him going into the hotel parking lot and taking her body out of the front seat and throwing it in the trunk. We don't know the whole time frame. And think of how voluminous all of that information is. All of that information that they put together, and that creates a timeline and creates the case against Stephan Sterns.
Yeah, Bill, as you know, you've done this and your team has done this. You go out looking for, stoplight cameras, security cameras, and it takes days and sometimes months to get all of these people to turn over, these private businesses to turn over video to you, especially if it's like, say, a security footage from their own, from their own property. So the public may say, well, okay, in 3 days, they got the phone. Okay, boom. They must have everything. No, they've got some things. You're right, but they want to confront them on this. I'm sure they were, chomping at the bit once they saw those pictures. They wanted to go after them. But getting the video of him in that Holiday Inn parking lot, that was huge, because at that point they knew, and they saw, him dropping off the stuff, the backpack. But that takes days, and like you say, it's you don't know at that point where, on a particular date, on the day they arrested him, you don't know how much further information they had. Maybe they didn't get the information from the that Holiday Inn parking lot for another 3 days. But it all takes time, and that's why I think the public doesn't understand. Sometimes these situations, these kind of investigations, take weeks. Just think of the Brian Koberger case. After 6 weeks, there you have people in the entertainment industry saying, "Oh my goodness, this is a closed case. Call in the FBI." No, that case was really quick. 6 weeks is nothing. So in this case, you're right. You want to see them go after him earlier on than when they did, but maybe, as you say, they couldn't connect all the dots. They didn't have it all. But that makes it difficult for investigators, because, like you say, you may only have one shot. You may interview him early on in the investigation before he becomes suspect number one. But then once he becomes suspect number one and you question him again, he may be bright enough to say, "Oh my goodness, the tone of these questions are concerning me. I think I'm going to lawyer up." So it's really difficult. You've done this many times. It's a balancing act. How many times do I want to question him? How hard do I want to go after him? Do I want to tip my hand? What kind of cards have I been dealt with? What do I know? What I don't know? And so that's the art of the interrogation.
Absolutely. And Mike, I forgot and this thumbnail reminded me, Madeline's Crocs found in dumpster with backpack and laptop.
That's right.
They had video of him doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
That's right.
4 major things that they have video of him throwing away: her laptop, her backpack, and turned out one of her Crocs. I don't know if they actually see him on video throwing the Croc in the dumpster, but they found the Croc in the dumpster, right?
Right.
And then the video of him driving away with her dead body in the front seat. The video of him coming back. I mean, can you believe he left the complex with her dead body and then came back? Because I left my clicker. You believe he came back? And then he's caught up four like slam dunk pieces of video evidence. I mean, that in itself, if that was all the evidence they had, I think most people in the chat would vote to convict based on those 4 things right there and connecting the dots together. Yes, he was seen throwing some stuff into this dumpster. And when we looked, there was Madeline's laptop, her backpack, and one of her Crocs. I mean, how strong of evidence is that? Isn't it pretty damn strong, Mike?
It's very, very strong circumstantial evidence. Absolutely. And, thankfully they got, they recovered her, and hopefully there's a lot more evidence like DNA and things like that. But yeah, just that circumstantial evidence alone, that would lead an ordinary juror to connect the dots, and the district attorney to be able to demonstrate to them that his actions imply guilt. His actions imply that, and show that he actually committed the crime, therefore he's guilty. So they have a lot more than that, but that alone, those videos, and just think about how powerful the video is. We saw in that Sheriff Steins case in Kentucky. I mean, you got video of him, if it's a good quality video of him at that Holiday Inn, removing a child who everybody believed was dead at that time and taking it from the front seat, passenger seat, into the trunk and closing the lid. I mean, if I'm a district attorney, I want to show that and show that and show that, and that I want to hold up that backpack, that dirty backpack that was found in a bunch of garbage in the condo complex. I want to show those two things and say, look at what he did to Madeline. Just look at what this guy did. That is hugely powerful.
Absolutely. Shaker sister, I love that people in the chat know this case so well. What doc did you see the clicker in his hand? And then Foxy Amazon, the interview with the security guard. Excellent. That's exactly it. It would be like a complaint follow-up. We call that on the NYPD. They call it something different in Kissimmee. But yes, the interview with the security guard, he said he had the clicker in his hand. So to answer your question, Shaker sister, Foxy Amazon just did. It was the interview with the security guard. They found out, he said, when he came into the complex, he had the clicker in his hand. So right away, that's a damn strong piece of evidence too, because he's a consistent liar. He's lying, So Nanny Goat, I think Stephan Sterns was looking for the other croc in Jennifer Soto's bedroom. He didn't care about the dog use as an excuse when he woke Jennifer Soto up. Nanny Goat, many people believe, and I'm sort of on the fence about this, that Jennifer Soto knew about everything, knew about the murder, maybe even participated in the murder. I think that she chose to not see things. Like she didn't see things that were obvious or should have been obvious to a sane adult, to a mature adult. And she chose not to see it. And does that in itself make her complicit? In my mind, yes, it does. Mike?
Yeah, because at the very least, the minimum liability she has is for endangering the welfare of a child, leading to that child's death. That, at the very least, is manslaughter for her. And if we talked about it, why they won't charge her, I think, and we talked about the strategy that the district attorney may use in a homicide case. They have a long time to wait, and they have patience, and there's no hurry to wait to charge Jennifer Soto. So yeah, I don't think she's going to get away scot-free. Yeah, at the very least, not at the minimum charges, I think for her would be manslaughter. That'd be the absolute minimum, I think, for her.
Foxy Amazon, I love all the things you remember. Stephan Sterns' biggest lie, I'm not much of a shutterbug. Oh, I wanted to kill him. Some of the things he said. Or, instead of saying I drove here, he says, I was making my way toward, like, who talks like that? And how about making good time? How many times he said that? We were making the schools. It is what it is. What do you mean you're making good time? You weren't driving 10 hours to another state. You're driving to the damn school. We were making good time. And yeah, I left early so we could make it to McDonald's. Like this guy. That whole interview is so painful to listen. But we're going to play a little bit more of this interview because we all love it so much.
And the dumpster. Okay.
I may have taken some trash with me then.
What was in the trash?
House trash.
House trash?
So it must have been that morning then. We'll toss trash bags on the back seat, and wherever we're going on our way out, we'll drop that on the way. I think may have mentioned to her before her. I'll have to double check.
Okay. Was everything in trash bags?
I'm sorry?
Was everything in trash bags, or was there any items that were just tossed along with the bag?
I think it would have been trash bags or maybe some boxes too. Some birthday stuff, leftovers. I can't remember exactly what.
Okay. When you for school, did she have her backpack with her?
Yes.
She did.
When he says that, it's
Hmm.
got to be like the detective knows that she did not have her backpack with her because they found it in the dumpster. And why he didn't double down and go for the throat right there is, to me, interview 101, and he failed here. He did not go for the throat. He should have 100% went for the throat right at that point because he caught him in a really horrific lie.
Did she have her school computer with her?
Yes. Presumably, yes.
Presumably. Okay.
She should have.
Once again, this goes back with the whole honesty thing. There was things in that trash bag that got thrown away that probably shouldn't have been thrown away. Okay. We'll get that in a minute. But right now, our main focus is finding. That is our number one focus right now. Okay. Do you have any idea where she may be?
No.
None whatsoever.
No.
Okay. All right.
Guys, I just want you to take note also when you watch Stephan Sterns, and someone just raised the point in the chat that he can't maintain eye contact. That is absolutely 100% a sign of not telling the truth. The other thing is he has his arms folded the whole time of the interview. That is called defensive. That is a defensive posture to take. I'm just giving you guys some body language 101. And, you know, I don't have that much faith in body language readers that claim they can tell you but because most detectives, most cops learn how to read body language just through what they do, their job. But to say, oh, he picked his ear, that means, you know, he can't hear. Whatever they try to predict things. But certain things, certain postures, like him folding his arms across his chest, him not being able to maintain eye contact, 100% it does mean something. We'll play a little bit more of this because it's an interesting interview.
Do you know? Okay. And sounds like
Again, they cut it off when he says our name.
something may have happened. Do you think
You know, in the chat, his demeanor is not evidence, but his yellow, you said his demeanor is not evidence. That's true, but his demeanor and the way he answers questions is what gives the detectives signals to go in hard or back off or go lighten up. All of those things a good investigator knows and a good interviewer knows. So when he starts being defensive and starts lying, that's when a detective has to get a little more aggressive, have to get in his face. And they didn't do that.
I don't think so. I don't think what could have happened.
Okay. All right. Do you know anybody that lives in St. Cloud? Do you know where St. Cloud is?
St. Cloud, that's north or south?
East.
East.
East of Kissimmee.
Yeah. I haven't been out there too much. But yeah, I'm familiar with St. Cloud.
Okay. Whereabouts in St. Cloud? Like, do you know friends out there, or?
I don't have any friends really. I've driven out there a few times before, but mostly just when I'm meandering up and down 192.
Were you out there this week?
Yeah, I was out there sometime this week. Sometimes I just drive and meander around and explore.
I'm a loser, so I
don't
just
know
drive
where I am,
around.
drive till I know where I am again, and just driving it's peaceful sometimes.
All right.
If I got time to kill, I'll just drive around.
Mm-hmm.
His whole life is time to kill because he doesn't do anything. If I have time to kill, I just drive around. Dude, you don't work. You don't do anything. You could drive all day like a meandering idiot if your parents can pay for your gas. You know, it's like.
That's right.
So you're saying when you had her backpack, presumably her school computer was in her backpack, and you described her wearing a green jacket, some kind of dark colored shorts, and white Crocs. Okay. Well, I can confidently tell you she did not go to school with her backpack.
How's that?
Because we found it in the trash. So, Stephan, here's what I'm asking you and pleading with you is to dig down and do some soul searching.
That style, Mike, of the interview, in my experience, does not work. This is not a time to be nice to him. This is not a time to be passive. This is not a time to beg him. This is a time to get aggressive. And someone in the chat said they were trying to avoid a mistrial. No, you're allowed to do these things. No one's saying lay your hands on the guy. You use your voice. You use your body language. You let him know you're not playing games. They were too nice to him. You know, I think, do I need a lawyer? That's what he's going to do next because they were too damn nice to him. They needed, it was close, he was walking that tightrope of about to get a lawyer, then go for it. Go for the jugular right now. Don't wait. You waited too long and he lawyers up. Do I need a lawyer now? Let's just watch when he lawyers up. It's disgusting.
Okay. You understand? Family's pleading with you. I'm pleading with you because this is all that we need to find. And it's, as more time goes by, it's tough. I have kids, he's got kids. And this little girl's out there somewhere that we need to know where. And I really, really, really think you can help us. I mean, you want to get something off your chest. I don't know what it is, but I'm pleading with you.
I don't know. I don't.
What happened?
I dropped her off.
Where?
I dropped her off on the road to school. That was the last I saw her.
Sometime throughout the night on Sunday, did you guys have any interaction, conversations?
What, like fight?
No, I'm not saying fight. I'm just, did you guys sit up and talk, or?
We talked while I was making ramen. She was excited about her choir performance coming up. She was singing a little bit. I told her it was pretty. It reminded me of Sister Act. That's why I wanted to show her that movie. Just talk about a crush she had on the boy.
How'd that make you feel?
Fine. She knows she's not old enough to date, but I told her to crush on. get your crush. That's healthy.
Do you think, had she had any boyfriends in the past?
Not per se, like boyfriends as however they can be
Mhm.
early on, but we decided that she was too young and needed to avoid that BS.
All right. Being that she's too young, so she shouldn't be having sex with boys.
She's all the that stuff. None of it counts. None of it's real. I just told her she'd be better off waiting till high school.
Mm-hmm. Has she ever talked to you about boys?
A little bit sometimes. A little bit.
Has she ever, because I asked Jennifer the same thing, has she ever disclosed to you about being sexually active with boys?
No.
Do you know if she's ever been sexually active with anybody in the past?
Not that I'm aware of. I heard there was some sort of incident when she was much younger where she did something with a phone or a camera but got scolded for it. She was very young. She didn't know. She got scolded for it though. But it's vague. It's just remembering what someone said offhand.
All right. What happened to your hand?
Flat tire. I haven't changed a flat tire in about 10 years. So I made a rookie mistake and had my thumb too close to where the jack and the frame meet.
Mm-hmm.
And it slipped and the frame came down on my thumb and pinned it between the jack, which I feel like I got off surprisingly light with that.
Ouch.
I yanked it free. You're not supposed to do that. It looks okay. It's got the worst of it. Some bruising under the nail.
Mm-hmm. What about the other scratches?
Courtesy of a janky tire iron and the road.
So obviously those are the injuries he sustained when he strangled Madeline, not from a janky tire iron, and I caught it between the tire iron, like this guy. It's, we did a whole show on this interview, and both Mike and I feel very strongly, had they taken a different strategy, that they may have got him to talk, because they were too damn nice to him, too lenient to him. They needed to go for the gusto. They needed to go for the throat, and they didn't. They were too nice. Is that, I don't know. This is New York City style. This is NYPD style interview and interrogation. And the detectives all know how to do this. They all know how to do it. Folks, so that's basically, the show. We know the first court appearance, obviously, Stephan Sterns finally shows up to court. The case for the SA isn't going to start till September 2025. So once that goes forward, and that doesn't mean September is written in stone. That's the planned date they have. It could be October, November, December, could be 2026. These judges, especially in these type of cases, they're overly lenient because they don't want to take any chance that the case could be reversed. Mike, I know you have to go. Your final thoughts on this case, Mike?
I think for everyone, patience. I always say patience, and patience is needed. He'll get what he deserves, and hopefully there'll be justice for Maddie. She deserves it more than anybody else, but he'll get his justice. It's going to take a while. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be in that jail or in a prison for the rest of his miserable life, and he's not going anywhere. So patience, everybody. There will be justice for Maddie.
Absolutely. I just wanted to let everyone know tomorrow night at 9:30, we're having former LA DA Matt Murphy, who is a famous DA, had some of the most famous cases in LA County. And he's going to come on the show and talk about his book, The Book of Murder by Matt Murphy. And he's also going to weigh in on the Brian Koberger case and, of course, the Gilgo Beach serial killer case, Rex Schuerman. Now, we're not going to be able to do deep dives because obviously he wants to talk about his book, but I don't think we have had a more experienced, more credentialed guy coming on the show to talk about these things than Matt Murphy. And I'm really, really excited to have him come on tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank everyone that tuned in this afternoon because Mike and I just, having no life, we said, let's do a show. Let's,
That's right.
and we both said, okay, let's get together and do a show because our fans, our friends will gladly join us. Folks, I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. On behalf of myself and Professor Mike Geary, thank you so much for tuning in today. Have a great night, and God bless everyone. One episode just ain't enough.